You don't see too many new houses these days using brick here in New Zealand. Believe it or not, Kiwis have fallen out of love with bricks, in my opinion. I'm Josh, a builder here in New Zealand. I do a large number of new homes. In this video, we're going to break down brick as a material, we're going to break down weatherboard as a material, and stick around to the end of the video where I tell you why I think Kiwis and builders have fallen out of love with bricks. First of all, a disclaimer, this is a lot to do with where you live, and this is based on my experience building homes in Wellington, New Zealand, and it depends on your crew, your location, your desired outcome, the availability of products, a lot of those things. First up, bricks. Some of the benefits of them are that they are durable and robust, and they come to site pre-finished. So the homeowner is never ever going to have to paint this wall. It will stand the test of time. So that durability means that long term for a rental house, it is low maintenance. You're not going to have to paint it every 10 years. It can kind of handle getting dinged and bumped. And because it has excellent thermal mass properties, it can also be energy efficient if you incorporate it into the design properly. And maybe that's one of the reasons that brick's popular in colder climates like the UK. Although over there they do a double skinned brick, so you have an outside layer and an inside layer. Slightly different to our process here, where this brick is just a facade. And the last benefit is that some people just love the look of a brick home. In different cultures, they are used to building with brick. That's what they feel like a solid, reliable home looks and feels like. And so there's nothing wrong with that. If you love the look of brick, we'll make it work for you. There are some things to consider when you're installing brick. So everywhere where there's brick, we have to put an extra rebate. When we're on a tiny site like this, it can start to chew into excess site coverage. You're getting an extra 100 mil the whole way around your property that you now can't use for inside or outside. Doesn't sound like a lot, but on these tight sites it adds up. For us as a builder, it also means that we have to get in another trade. As well as the builder, we have to get in a bricklayer. We have to coordinate those two things. We have to get another supplier in to get the bricks. We have to get another inspection called a half-high inspection. On our end, there's definitely more management to build a brick home. Brick by brick, I'm building up my subscribers. Go ahead, click subscribe. Help us add another one to the list. Let's jump into the weatherboard. Now let's talk about weatherboard. This is a traditional bevel back timber weatherboard, and this one here has been stained. You can also paint it, and you'll see that on homes from about the 60s onwards. Very classic Kiwi look, solid, reliable, stands the test of time if it's maintained. Now that'll be the biggest thing of weatherboard versus brick, is if it's a stain you have to do that every 1 to 2 years. If it's a paint you have to do that every say 7 to 10 years, and you have to do that to stay up with the maintenance of your product. So a little bit more maintenance intensive. The weatherboard, in particular the bevel back, compared to some other monolithic products out there in the marketplace, is very robust and very waterproof. So just like brick, it's another material that has stood the test of time. For someone like myself as a builder or a carpenter, it's a more traditional product to work with. You can cut it with your saw. It's more versatile, you can hammer it, you can shape it. It's not that you can't do those things with brick, but that involves a different set of tools, a different set of skills. The weatherboard is more aligned with traditional carpentry. And if we've got a builder on site doing foundations and frames, then we would prefer our builder to carry on doing the weatherboard as well. Because it's more versatile, it means that we can repair it easier. We've got more options to install it. We have a better handle on the timeline when we're using it. It's lighter weight than lugging around pallet loads of bricks. It has a smaller footprint on the build. Instead of doing the timber frames inside and the brick facade outside, the weatherboard goes onto the timber frames. It gives the building some bracing strength as well, and that's important here in New Zealand with earthquakes. That's why a lot of old buildings that have stood the test of time have been built with timber here in New Zealand. Even the nails have a little bit of flexibility in them, and all of those things make the building a little bit more malleable than a concrete or brick structure, and all of that means that they are more likely to stand the test of time in earthquake zones And a lot of the work we do on existing houses, we find that we are tearing down brick chimneys, we're removing old brickwork. Also, if we have a timber weatherboard house, we can pick it up, we can move it to another site. If it's a brick house, we have to demolish it, kind of like we did at Exchange Street. It makes it really, really hard to reuse it. I personally love the look of weatherboard, and I wanted a timber weatherboard to match in with a vertical weatherboard, and I wanted a product that my team could work with, that I could install myself. Those were all part of the draw factor to weatherboard for me. Again, it depends on your team, it depends on their skills, it depends on the availability of product. I personally think there's more weatherboard options available, they're more mainstream. Sticking to mainstream means you're more likely to get the amount you need, when you need it, for the price you need it. Comparing the two, I feel like Kiwis have fallen out of love with bricks. And if you look at the last 50 homes I've built, 4 of them have been brick. That's 8%, so less than 1 in 10 homes. There's a lot to be said for the low maintenance factor of a brick home, and in the right place and done the right way, it works really well. I think this home here is beautiful. There's a number of brick houses on the street. It suits the area, it suits the era, it suits the client's long-term goal of holding a portfolio of rentals. However, in Wellington, a lot of our jobs are on sloping sites. A good bricklayer is getting harder and harder to come by. We can do brick, but I'm going to tell them the implications. I personally feel like it adds more cost and more complication to our jobs. So if you're thinking of building new and you're trying to decide brick versus weatherboard, I hope this video has helped you work out some of the implications of both decisions. At the end of the day, it needs to look and feel right for you, it needs to hit your goals, and it needs to suit your budget.